Olá pessoas, eu sou a Priscila Ganiko e hoje eu vim trazer para vocês uma entrevista que eu fiz com o Chris Remo da ex-Campo Santo, que agora virou uma outra coisa aí, eles foram todos contratados pela Valve, mas ele vai contar mais disso na entrevista que vocês vão assistir logo depois de eu fazer essa introdução. A gente fez essa entrevista durante o Big Festival 2018, trocamos uma ideia com o Chris assim no meio da galera, tal, foi bem divertido, e ele falou um pouquinho mais sobre o jogo novo que eles estão fazendo, chamado In the Valley of Gods. Confere aí. Recently, Microsoft also bought a lot of studios, indie studios. Yeah. Do you think we'll be seeing more and more companies like Sony and Microsoft maybe absorbing smaller companies like indie games and stuff?
It definitely feels like their AAA game development is getting so big and so expensive that there's only enough room for, you know, a certain number of them. I think the industry is starting to see that there's a lot of potential and possibility in smaller scale game development.
You were a journalist before,
yeah.
So do you think maybe you could absorb something from it and like incorporate it on your job right now?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Really?
Yeah, I think being a journalist definitely made me a better game designer.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Because a big part of what you have to think about as a journalist is how is the person who is on the other end of this, how are they going to receive it? You know, you can't assume that they know everything that's in your head. You have to make the information clear. It has to be understandable to other people. You have to write in a way that makes sense to other people. And game design is really very similar to that. When you're designing a game, once it's out there, you can't like be over their shoulder being like, oh no, actually it works like this. The game has to speak for itself. And so a lot of what you're doing as a game designer is thinking, okay, when someone else experiences this, and they don't know any of what's in my brain, they only know what's in their brain, how do I create this in a way that they're going to understand, that they will understand what it is being presented to them, that they will have a reasonable expectation of what they're getting out of what they put into it. And then the other thing I really benefited from as a journalist, I think, was not being afraid of criticism.
No, really.
Yeah, because again, like, you put something out as a journalism and you just send. I do not care if people say negative things about their game. I mean, I want them to like our game, but I'm happy to read criticism. It doesn't bother me. I definitely have met some game developers who just do not like criticism and do not handle it, but I totally am happy to have it. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me at all. There's if someone doesn't like your game, there's a reason for it. Maybe it's a good reason, maybe it's a bad reason. Hopefully it's a good reason. And if you're a developer who is not bothered by criticism, you can read the criticism and understand where it's coming from.
Firewatch was a game about solitude. Do you have a word that describes In the Valley of Gods right now?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know that we have one word, but if I had to pick one, maybe in contrast to solitude, I would say companionship. Because in the Valley of Gods, you know, unlike Firewatch, your other companion character is actually physically there with you while you play the game. And so she is accompanying you, she is responding to you, talking to you. You know, you're filming a movie in the game and she can walk into the frame. So yeah, it's definitely, we're trying to tell a story that's more of kind of an exciting adventure story and has this companionship element to it, and you know, hopefully is exciting and all, you know, all the other things.
Really? It looks really amazing. It was revealed only like
I hope so.
Awards.
I hope it's good.
We haven't seen much about it, but it seems to have some hugeness to it. It seems huge.
That's what that region is like. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like you see, I have never been there, but I really now, especially that I'm working on this game, I really want to go to Egypt and see all this stuff myself. Because you look at these photographs, and there'll be like one little person in the photograph, and then this incredible construction, and it's just like, how did human beings make this thousands of years ago? It doesn't make any sense.
What is the biggest challenge about communicating something on such a huge scale?
I think part of it is, you know, you're in a desert and you have these really incredible environments, but you know, they're very spread out, and then there's lots of desert in between. So on Firewatch, the whole game is one big world, so you can walk from any point to any point yourself, and it's full of trees and vegetation and all kinds of, like rivers and rocks and everything. And so walking through these areas is kind of fun and enjoyable because there are all these different environments. But in this game, it's like when you're near a big structure or a dig or you're underground, that's really like fun and exciting. But then if you have to get from one place to another, you don't want to just walk across the desert for like an hour. That would not be very fun,
Yeah,
so
that would be pretty tiring.
yeah,
I think.
exactly. So this game has to work a little bit differently from Firewatch in that regard. We can't have the same structure of just everywhere you go, you can just walk directly there. It doesn't really make sense when you're in an environment that is as big as what these deserts are like. So that's kind of a challenge, and we're trying to solve that right now.
Firewatch had this pretty interesting thing about its soundtrack.
Oh.
Because it was very punctual.
Yeah.
It was very specific.
Yeah.
And then you said before in an interview that it has never you never repeat the same soundtrack twice.
You did your research.
Yeah, I did.
I did say that.
Because I didn't notice that while I was playing.
Yeah.
So it was like, really? I even went back to check.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very confident it's true. Yeah. Because I was both the composer and a game designer, so I did both parts. So I definitely know how it works.
And I was like, this is so amazing. And can we expect something like that for?
Oh, I don't know actually. Yeah, I haven't really thought I haven't really thought about it yet. I mean, I'm definitely excited to start figuring out the music on In the Valley of Gods. I haven't really done very much yet because we're still working on kind of doing a lot of prototyping right now and early development.
You're doing the music again, the soundtrack, and it's the whole sound thing?
I'm not doing all of the audio this time. Firewatch was the only time I've done like sound design, like sound effects and all that stuff. So I'm not gonna. That was like too many jobs. So I'm not doing that one. But I am still doing the soundtrack, and I'm still doing working on game design. So right now, mainly working on game design. But once more of the game has come along, then I'm going to really start thinking about the music and figuring out how that's going to work.